man built this house for his wife. Wait, I think I feel his presence now.
Sorry. I hope I didn't spook you. You don't have to be afraid of me. I'm Frank Hops, and I'm here to tell you my story. It's a sad story. Oh, let me tell you why. Well, to start out with, I was born back in Civil War times. That was one of the worst times of our country. In 1865, I was born in Peoria, Illinois. Well, 10 years later, my family moved us here to Washington. I attended Washington schools. I even graduated from Washington High School in 1882. Well, I was pretty lucky at that time because I got a job right out of high school with Mr. Henry Denhart at the bank. After only working there for 8 years, I saved my money and worked hard. I was able to marry my sweetheart, Kerr Voorhees. Oh, wonderful Kerry. In 1896, we built this beautiful Victorian home, which you find yourself here tonight. Isn't it lovely? Our son Donald was even born here. Oh, those were the good days. Comes the happy time. But like everything in my life, it didn't last. After only 4 years of marriage, my wonderful Carrie died. Oh, I couldn't even stand to go around this house. Every room reminded me of Carrie. I just couldn't stand it, so I sold it. I sold it to Henry Harms. Now Henry worked with us at the bank. He was a nephew, in fact, of Henry Denhart. I would imagine probably he was named after Uncle Henry. Well, after losing Carrie, I just threw myself into my work, and I worked really hard. Oh, 35 years at the bank. In 1917, when Mr. Denhart decided to divide up the business. So he sold me 1/3 of the business. He sold the other third to Frank Kingsbury. Well, the three of us, we were really aggressive bankers. We got out there and we really pushed the business. We were known throughout the Midwest. Well, like the other tragic times in my life, that didn't last. Along came the Great Depression, another terrible time in our country's history. Oh, depositors wanted their money back, but what could we do? We'd already loaned it out. The state regulators came in and locked our doors and we were closed. Oh, it was terrible. Oh. They even sold all my properties and took all my money. I was penniless, without a trial or anything. Well, us three partners were even charged with bank embezzlement and perjury. Oh, it was a terrible time. I alone was charged with 27 different counts. Why, I was so poor I couldn't even make bail. So I had to go to jail. Oh, that was terrible. Here I was, penniless, no job, no home. What was I do? My boy Donald was out in California. I couldn't leave the state. I was under indictment. So I decided I'd go to Saybrook, which is over east of Bloomington, close to here. I went over, my brother was over there, George, my sister Elizabeth. So I kind of alternated staying with them. About the only thing I had that I really loved to do was fish. Oh, I love to go fishing, as you can see. One afternoon about 4 o'clock, I decided I would go out to the gravel pit there in Saybrook. It was one of my favorite spots. I have a little peninsula there I like to fish from. There's a lot of people there when I got there, but by the time I was there a while, they had all gone home to supper. Well, George started worrying about me. It started to get dark, and I didn't show up. So he got together some of his friends, and they came looking for me. Well, lo and behold, there was some of my fishing tackle on the bank. There's another pole over here stuck in the ground, and I was nowhere to be found. Looking around, they saw some skid marks. Looked like the bank had caved away down into the gravel pit. Well, I didn't know what to do. One of the friends was going to start diving for me. He said the water was too cold. He didn't want to go in there. He's afraid to get cramps unless they had a rope tied around him. So off went George and this friend to get a rope. While they were gone, one of the other guys put a hook on a line and started casting it out to the bottom and pulling it back. Casting it out and pulling it back. He hooked something. Pulled it in. That was my body. Coming out of 15 feet of water. Oh. Newspaper said, oh, this is suspicious. Well, maybe it was. I was going to go before the Tazewell County Grand Jury in just a few days for all these things they were accusing me of, taking money from children in estates. I had a good reputation. Oh, well, I guess that secret died there in that gravel pit with me. And you know, ghosts don't give up their secrets. Dead men never tell. But it's kind of ironic. You can go downtown. There's the Denhart Bank. Mr. Denhart's name on it. Now, it's not a bank anymore. They've made a dining place out of it. You can go in there and eat, or you can go downstairs and have some libations. But the name Denhart is there. What? You can get in your car and drive over on Kingsbury Street. Ride your bicycle, walk your dog down Kingsbury Street. So Mr. Kingsbury's still remembered here in town fondly. What about Frank Hobbs? I built this beautiful Victorian home. Is this the Hobbs home? No, this is the Harms home. I guess there's just no justice in this world. Well, they say over in Saybrook, you don't go around that gravel pit fishing, especially around 7 o'clock at night, because at 6 minutes till 7, my watch had stopped in my pocket when I went into the water. Now, people say they sometimes see a body floating out there, and then they look again real hard, and there's nothing there. Same with this house. People that have lived in this house will be walking around, they see something out of the corner of their eye, and they'll, look, there's nothing there. Or sometimes they hear a real silent voice. Carrie, Carrie. What are we to make of this? Even the bank building downtown, they've got an old teller's cage in there that I used to stand behind when I worked at the bank. They look there and they see something, but they look back. There's nothing there. Personally, I really don't like the bank building anymore after all the suffering I went through with banking. Mainly, I just go down to the basement. So I really love visiting the spirits down there. Thank you for your attention. I do have pictures of my younger, happier days here. I have a picture of the evil gravel pit that took my body. They laid my body to rest here in Washington. And I've got a nice tombstone. I didn't have a service. Not even a service for poor Frank Hobbs. My wife Kerr is buried there. We're right alongside each other. Also, there's numerous newspaper reports of my passing. None were too complimentary. But I thank you for your time here this evening. Feel free to walk around the building. I intend to myself.
That is so sad about Mr. Hobbs. I wonder what really happened to him. What else do you see?